Sydney train commuters are facing the fifth consecutive day of confusion as the industrial dispute between the government and Transport Union continues. 115 train drivers are absent today and both parties are seemingly unable to strike a deal. Now calls are growing for New South Wales Premier Chris Minns to seek urgent intervention from Canberra and put an end to Sydney's rail and train pain.
OK, let's get some more. We're joined by Foreign Editor Hugh Whitfeld and journalist Suzanne Mostyn. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Hugh, first up, the Federal Workplace Relations Minister has the power to terminate industrial action that would cause significant damage to the Australian economy. Is it time for an intervention at that level?
Well, it kind of feels like the damage is already being done because the traffic is really bad in Sydney at the moment. It feels like people have given up on the trains because they can't rely on the fact that their service is going to turn up. So they're choosing to either get in the car and go to work or stay at home. And when you've got the union boss saying at a press conference, work from home, that the unions are actually calling the shots, it's kind of becoming a pretty difficult situation for everyone.
Sure.
So strong language has been used on both sides.
Yeah.
Are we likely to see any resolution without Canberra actually throwing some weight around?
Well, the Prime Minister was asked about this morning, Kyles, and he said the union must see common sense on this. He's not going to intervene. That would undermine Premier Minns' authority. Chris Minns is firmly in the driver's seat. But this has been going on now for months. It is disgusting. People are losing businesses. Kids can't get to school on time. The elderly, people getting to hospitals. You know, all of the system has ground to a halt, as Hugh just mentioned. And other people don't have an option. Some people can't afford Uber or a taxi or don't have a friend with a car. So this is despicable. And yes, Hugh's right. The fact that the union leader is manipulating things and saying to people, if you can work from home, work from home. Breathless arrogance. How dare he? This must be solved soon because you cannot bring one of the world's major cities to its knees and expect to get that pay rise. Get back on the rails.
All right, let's move on now. And a new report from the Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority has found that Aussie school students' civic and citizenship knowledge is at the lowest level since the National Civics Test began back in 2004. Now, based on a national sample of Year 6 and Year 10 students, only 43% of Year 6 students and 28% of Year 10 students attained a proficient standard. Suze, they're worrying figures for sure. What are the implications when young people don't understand actually how our country works?
Yeah, so much, Larry. This is really quite distressing because civics is the cornerstone of our democracy, our liberal democracy. You have to know your rights, your privileges, your responsibilities, how government works, how laws are made, how it affects you. And I think there's an engagement problem. A Senate committee on this has said that it needs to be overhauled. It must be on the national curriculum and not up to the states to say, oh, we have the autonomy to not give that to our kids. They must be given this knowledge. And as I'm thinking in terms of engagement, it can be quite dry. I love it. But you're the perfect person. Can you imagine Larry Emder's The Chase towards civics? For students, it'd be great. You make it into a game show type thing.
Yes.
Kids engage on those issues.
Yes.
And they get to know them like in a quiz kind of setting. That could really work. Something that engages people and shows them how it affects their lives.
I agree. Put budget issues in order from least expensive to most. I think it's a thing.
Or on TikTok, which might be where you could reach the young people.
I don't know if you're allowed on TikTok at my age, Chloe.
No. Just the civics lessons on TikTok.
No, game show, lads.
Put them into 30-second bits on TikTok.
So not endorsing my game show?
No, well, it is
Kylie has killed your show.
It's an idea, but also... What do you reckon, Hugh? What can be done?
Look, I don't know why kids aren't enthused by it. It was one of my favourite subjects at school.
Yeah,
that might surprise you or not. But getting kids enthused and getting them involved in those mock parliaments that might be done or getting them practising voting at school, why not? It's a way to make it a game, make it interesting and to show kids what they get out of the institutions that have helped to build this country into what it is.
Finally, a restaurant has made waves online after listing a children's meal for $99.
Whoa.
The controversial move was designed to stop adults ordering the smaller and cheaper servings. The restaurant said they generally offer kids' meals at or below cost, meaning they lose money on each one they sell. And, quote, when inconsiderate adults ignore the rules and order themselves a kids' meal, they are stealing from the restaurant.
Give me a break.
Hugh, we'll start with you. We know where Sue's stepped. It's a bit of a stunt, but I think it's kind of fair enough.
Yeah, look, I feel a little bit burnt by kids' meals because my dad would always make sure that the nuggets and the chips also came with vegetables, which I felt like I was getting
you've been robbed.
cheated on. Yeah.
Yes, but look at you now.
I know, exactly. The kids' meals and the civics lessons. So,
You're a fine example.
but who doesn't just want 6 nuggets and chips? Like, sometimes that's all you want. I feel like the restaurant may be overplaying its hand here because sometimes you just want a little bit and not a full meal.
That's what an appetiser or an entree
maybe just an
is
entree.
for.
Exactly,
Yes.
you're right, an entree.
Suze, your time starts now.
I love a kids' meal. I mean, how many times I think back, God, I've ordered more than I've probably ordered a starter. When is the Ozempic meal coming and the pensioner meal? I think if this restaurant is not dealing in hospitality but hospitality, you're going to drive your customer base away. If it's costing you money, don't blame the diner and say that you're stealing. Just up it just a little bit so that you break even. People love, parents, don't we, guys, love the kids' meal. You take your kids in, as Hugh just said, you get your nuggets and chips, veg on the side.
Yeah, Suze,
I just don't understand this restaurant.
I'm going to disagree with you and Hugh because I'm actually on the restaurant side because they've put the kids' meal there at cost, knowing that kids can't come into a restaurant.
Kyles, just lift it a little bit so that you break even or you make maybe a buck on it.
But if they break even, they're still going to go out of business. If
but you've got to have a draw card, don't you? You have to. People want to feed kids in a cost of living crisis.
But you've got they're putting the cheap kids meal there because I know it's being subsidised, if you like, because they've got 2 paying adults there or 3 paying adults.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think the whole family orders
from.
a kids meal. I totally get it. You've got to strike a balance. But to
Yeah, but
actually get angry with your consumer base and say it's your fault, you're stealing from us, and put that $99 thing, it's not engendering any respect and any warmth between the customer and the restaurant.
I think they would only charge the $99 if you were going to order it as an adult. I don't think they're going to charge your kid. If you're sitting there with your kid, they're not going to charge the kid $99.
Just load up the tip or, the gratuity at the end that they put in for service and things.
What about if you're the restaurant and you see
Water.
that the adults ordered the nuggets, that you just put some Carolina Reaper chili on top, sauce on top?
Oh, yeah.
That's worth it, hey?
Possibly. What do you think, though? Can you see what I'm saying?
Look, I can see what you're saying, but it doesn't bother me because now that I've got my seniors card, I get the kids' meal. I get the kids' meal size anyway.
You're in and out by 5:30.
And they put it in a blender and make it into a soup for me. It's fabulous.
60 plus, roll on.
Hey, bring it. Suze, thank you.
Thanks,
Hugh, thank you
Suze.
very
Thanks,
much.
Hugh.
And now